it's Christy, and today's video is a DIY. So I decided to try this, try tie-dyeing a Mickey Mouse shirt. I had two. This is one of them. I've got my Mickey down here at the bottom, if you can see it, with the ears. So that's what this video is. I'm going to voice over what I'm doing so you can see how to do it and you can try it yourself at home. So stay tuned, let's go.
The beginning of this process is not visible. What is the word I'm looking for? It's not in here because, well, you can't really see me washing it. So what I did to begin with is these brand new shirts, I did wash and dry them. This step is very important so that the dye actually soaks into the fabric. If you don't wash and dry them, it will not soak into the fabric and you'll have a difficult time getting any kind of design that you want. After that, I actually took a Mickey Mickey head draw out that I already had and just traced it with a washable marker. This is important too. If you draw on your shirt and it's not a washable marker, it's going to be permanent, so don't use a Sharpie. I used a washable marker, just one of my kids' markers, and traced out the Mickey head. I did it in a couple of different places. I did one in the center, I did one down in the corner. The reason this is important, again, is because you don't want to leave the marker line in there. You do want it to wash out. So once I got that done, I grabbed a needle, I grabbed dental floss. This step is also important. If you use just regular yarn, regular string, it will soak up the dye as well, whereas dental floss actually does not soak up the dye. Then once you've got that done, lay your t-shirt flat and decide where you want to put your Mickey head, of course, and then trace it. So once you have the dental floss threaded, you need to decide if you want the Mickey head on both the front and the back of your shirt. I did the front and the back of my shirt in order to have it on both sides. I also thought it would be easier. So that's where I am here. I had just actually finished stitching. So to explain how to stitch, you're going to, so as you see here, as you go, you are literally, well, for me, I did both sides. I'm stitching it all the way through and just kind of doing like I want to say a loop to loop. I don't know how else to explain that. So you're just stitching it through the process around the line of your washable marker, like right on the line. And I'm pulling it tight as I go because I want to make sure that the floss really has a good hold on the fabric. Don't pull too tight, you might break the floss. And then once I get all the way around the Mickey, I tie it in a couple of knots and I clip off the end of the floss, and then it's completely on around the actual fabric. Oh my gosh, why am I having such a hard time to explain this? Once you have the entire Mickey into its little design, you want to take a rubber band and wrap it around where the Mickey is and the floss is connected. Do you get what I'm saying? If you're having a hard time understanding this piece of it, you can always leave comments down below in the description, and I can try to go over it just a little bit better. But you do want to make sure you tie the rubber bands around it. If you want a thicker white area, not exactly white, but a thicker white area around the Mickey, do a couple of rubber bands, not just one. Try to line it up the best you can with the lining. If you can see right here where I'm trying to line it up the best I can with the lining of the tracing that I did. Oh my gosh, I'm definitely struggling. So you see here, I've already done multiple t-shirts and I'm just putting the rubber bands around them. But yes, line it up as much as you can with the actual where you traced it with your washable marker, and it should be sufficient enough. I did not have any issues. I think there was only one where it kind of looked a little off, but I think that was my own fault with the floss. It wasn't as tight as it needed to be. Once you have your rubber bands around all the Mickey tracings, outlines, whatever you want to call it, you then want to figure out how you want your shirt to appear. I like to pleat mine, and that's what you see me doing right here. I'm trying to pleat the fabric. It doesn't have to be perfect. It's tie-dye. Tie-dye is never perfect. And I'm just pleating it all the way around the shirt, and I'm going one section at a time. That way I can rubber band it off and then move on to the next section. As you see here in this part of the tutorial, I am doing it section by section and then rubber banding it off, only using one rubber band this time because I kind of wanted my Mickey to be more defined than the rest of it. So just pleating it is how I did it. The next part is also not seen here because I had to go outside to color my fabric. If you buy a kit, it's super easy. You just buy a kit. It says add water to it. And once it's rubber band off, your shirt or whatever fabric you're doing is rubber band off. You just add the colors to the sections that you want. If you want light colors, you want your shirt to appear light, setting it out for like 20 minutes will do the job. That's about what these two shirts that you're going to see at the end of this were set out for, was literally 20 minutes. Or the darker, richer colors you want to pull, the longer you leave it sitting out. Once you have it, once you've got it, have set it out for a while, you do not have to let this completely dry. A lot of people say you need to let it completely dry. You do not have to let it completely dry. If you want it to be really, really rich colors, leave it out for a couple of days and let it dry. For me, I don't want it super, super dark, so I didn't. Then you rinse out each section as best you can. So I like squeezed out each section under the sink and in the faucet, and then remove the rubber bands, and then squeezed out some more of the dye because you don't really just want to throw these in the washer and get dye all over your washer. Once I was done with that, I stuck them in the washer. I washed them, then I dried them, and then you get the end result of what you see at the end of this when it's done, what you'll see. And these are my Mickey shirts. I really think they turned out great. I love them. I made 6 more after I made these 2, so now I officially have 8 Mickey shirts tie-dyed. And they all look different. Even if you sit there and do the same design over and over again, they all end up looking different. Just something I noticed, something I really like. So that being said, if you actually enjoyed this tutorial, let me know. If you need more descriptions or more visuals, let me know. It was hard to be able to film. I film by myself. I don't have anyone to help me. So it's really hard to film me putting the color dye on them and all that stuff. So I did the best I could here and tried to describe it the best that I could. But this is how they turned out, and let me know what you think about them. I really liked how they turned out.
Okay, so that was my Disney DIY tie-dye shirts. I did 2 different ones. Like I said, this one that has the Mickey down here in the corner and one that has it in the center. One thing I will mention for these shirts, they're lighter colored. I did that on purpose. I only left the dye on for about 20 minutes, whereas if you want it rich and dark, you leave it on for much longer, like 24 hours. I wanted mine light, kind of pastel, very summery. That's kind of what's in style right now. So let me know what you think about these shirts, and leave me some comments down below on what you like, what you dislike. Be nice. All right, guys, thanks so much for watching. Have a good one. Bye now.